convention there to head back to Texas to my mother's house. I had no idea that that day was going to truly change my life and my path was going to be forever altered. I had signed up as a Cincy consultant in September of 2009 because I was cheap and everybody was getting it for Christmas, and I did the math and figured out that I was going to save some money if I just paid that $99. The only reason I was even still a consultant come the new year is because I'd given a warmer to our son's secretary at the elementary school, and those teachers kept me in business for the entire school year. I'm not kidding. They would send home orders in his backpack, and I would get the order in, and I would fill it, and I would label it, and he would deliver it the next day at school. He was more consultant than I was. I hardly ever left the house to do my business. Not that I had a business, because I did. The new year came around, and they started talking about convention. My sponsor, Julie, kept saying, "Shelley, you've got to go. It is so much fun. The energy is to die for. You can't help but catch that Cincy fever. You can write it off on your taxes. It's going to be amazing. Come on." And every time she asked, I said, "Julie, that's a business expense. That's a business trip, and I don't have a business. I don't want a business. I'm not going." Well, at the time we were living in South Carolina, my husband was active duty Air Force, and he received orders. He received orders to deploy to Iraq for the entire summer, and I said, "If you're not going to be in South Carolina, you go away. We're going home to my mama's house. We're going to stay there." And it wasn't long after that, Julie pointed out, it was just an 8-hour drive from Wichita Falls, Texas to Denver, and I thought, I can justify that. I can justify that. All right, I'll go have fun with her. Let me tell you what, fun is an understatement. If you haven't been to a convention, make it your priority to go this summer, because we had an absolute blast. We really did. I met some of the most amazing people I've ever met. I got to hear truly inspiring stories from superstar directors who had commission checks that more than doubled my husband's annual salary as an officer in the Air Force. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It didn't inspire me to do anything like business. We were pretty comfortable. I was good with where we were. I didn't care if I was a consultant. And then, like I said, I got to meet some of the other women. And I got to talk to them, and I heard their stories and what Cincy was doing for them. And I couldn't help but be excited for them. I couldn't help but catch that Cincy fever. And when they announced Disney, I was like, woo! Never gonna go. Never gonna happen. I had my little bell that they gave us as inspiration, and I'm like, geez. Never go. I'll never promote past certified consultant. Heck, I may not even be a consultant coming and sit in through. Who knows? And then I started that drive home. And I started thinking about those women that I had really gotten to know well. And I'm going to pause here for just a second because I want to recognize some of you. If you're an essential consultant, certified, lead, or star consultant, please stand up for me. I promise not to make you do anything crazy like you do dance. I want you to don't stay up for that. I'm not done with yet. I want everybody in this room to look around. This is over 75% of this room, but not just this room. You're over 75% of this entire company. You guys are the foundation of this business. You are the ones that are out there every day, not that we're not, but that are out there every day inspiring people. People believe that they can replicate what you're doing. And you have no idea you're doing it. Probably, just like those women I met at convention that year, had no clue how they had changed my entire life. You guys can go ahead and sit down. Thank you. But it was women that I had met there who were just like each of you that stood up just now. I could not stop thinking about those women that were so excited about their business. And most of it was because they were so proud that they were able to be a little bit more independent or give back to their family that little bit of extra wiggle room that they had wanted for comfort, or maybe a new car that they hadn't been able to afford. And now they can, because of Cincy. And it sounded like they were having a whole lot of fun doing it. It sounded like a little bit of work, but not a whole lot of work. Not a whole lot of hard work either. So I thought about that, and then I started thinking about my friends and family that I love and adore and would do anything for. And here I had this opportunity in my lap that I had never shared with them. How many of you have a friend or family member that an extra $200 or $300 in their family budget would make all the difference. We all do it. Us too. It made a huge difference in our life. Well, I have some of those people too, including someone that's here, my mom. She was the first person when I got back to Texas I talked to. She had been working for AT&T for a little over 20 years, was looking at retirement in the next couple of years, and was young to retire and was stressed out how she was going to make ends meet at that young age, not being able to draw Social Security and all of her retirement benefits. I have some water.
So put you on YouTube.
She's the first person I talked to. Yeah, here she is, right here. Angela. Stand up. Everybody give her a round of applause. And I'm going to tell you why you're giving her a round of applause. Because I really stunk at sharing the opportunity. Really bad. I get home and I'm excited to share all the new products with her and tell her about that incentive trip that I'm never going on. How she could easily add this to what she's already doing. She had a boutique that she was doing vendor shows for already. I said, just take it with you, add it right in, it'll be in the mix. By the way, you can't do that. But it tells you how much I knew about this business. Right? And I was like, so, I don't know. If you think it might work, it's just $99. Look at her. I don't know. Do you want to? Would any of you join my team, really? But she's my mom, and she's kind of obligated to do that. So how does somebody go from such a sad start, right? Nobody on my team hadn't made any, I barely promoted to certified, hadn't really done much with my business, and that August, I hit my lead consultant numbers. In September, I hit my star consultant numbers. In October, I hit my superstar consultant numbers. And by the end of February, I hit director numbers. And people ask me, they're like, how did you all of a sudden build this business into something so successful? And it's very simple. I stopped asking what Cincy could or could not do for me. And I started asking how Cincy could help people I loved. And eventually how it could help people that I came into contact with. What did it have to offer them? And it took me a long time, but I did finally come up with a method that we started out with new family members or team members that were wildly successful. And we're going to talk about that today, the Carl Walking Run method. But before we do, I'm going to preface it with saying, if you aren't or haven't already done everything that we're talking about in this discussion, you need to start doing it. Because if you aren't doing it, you can never convince anybody else, no matter how good smooth talking you are, that they can do it. They need to see that you're doing it first. So we'll start with the crawl. And just like a newborn baby comes home from the hospital, you would never expect it to go running across the house, right? You've got to teach them to do that. You've got to motivate them and inspire them to get up and do those moves. And you have to do that with your new family members as well. So if you haven't had Sally Sue yet come to you, you will. She may not be as silly as I'm about to be. She's the one that comes running up to me and she's like, oh, I can do anything right now. Everything about it, something, we're going to go first. What do I do? Do it now, do it now. And when you have somebody come to you, how many of you have a sudden panic to find the closest computer before they change their mind? Right? I know I still do. Well, I'm here to tell you to show her from day one that it's about her and it has nothing to do with you. And I'm going to ask you not to sign her up right away. Don't tell her how to do it. Sit her down. Ask her what questions she has about starting her own Cincy business, because she has them. She may not know, but she does. Ask her what her goals are. How can Cincy enrich her life and her family's life as well? Again, it's about her and not you. You're going to explain to her all those amazing awards you can earn in your first 70 days. You're going to explain those to her and tell her that you want to help her reach all of those goals. But to do that, you're going to ask her not to join your family for 2 to 3 weeks. She's probably going to have a slightly discouraged and confused look. You're probably going to cringe a little bit. You're going to explain to her that so that she can earn those awards, you're going to send her home with a basket party that day. And her job is to find somebody to take that basket party and collect hers for the next 10 to 12 days. And that night she needs to get on the phone. And she needs to call her friends and her family until one of them agree to help her by hosting a party in the next 2 to 3 weeks. When she's done that, she's going to call you And she's going to schedule her own launch party. With the understanding that you're going to come and you're going to do the presentation just like you would for any other hostess. Then you're going to give her all of the same amazing hostess coaching you would give anybody else. You're going to help her with that list of 100. You're going to help her stretch to reach out to that list of 100. And then the day of her party, or the day before her party, she's going to pick up her basket parties with all the orders, and she's going to officially join your team. The next day when you go to launch party, you're going to do what you do, and you're going to inspire her beyond measure, and probably everybody else in that room when you get up and give you a quick presentation. You visit with a guest throughout the party. You help her collect all the order forms, and then you play a booking game to fill up her calendar. When the guests leave, you sit down with her and you help them in those first 2 parties. Typically, what happens is that she earns her sensational star award, or her shooting star award, and she promotes to certified elite, usually. Sometimes they even hit that first level sensational star. If they don't hit that, they will in 2 more days at their friend's party. Can you think of anything more motivating than earning all of those awards in your first 24 to 72 hours? And what happens when somebody has a huge success? They don't want to give it up. They want to keep going. So then it's time to help her walk. And to do this, you're going to help her reevaluate her goals a little bit because they've shifted just a hair. She's got a couple of parties under her belt. And you're going to encourage her in this goal to have at least 2 home parties a month, 1 basket party, and to find just 1 new person that wants to join her family. Every single month. If she does this, she's likely to exceed 1,000 PRV every month, and she should be steadily promoting her business. Again, anything more motivating than personal success, huge success, it doesn't get any better than that. And those 250 plus commission checks are hard to give up to that are rolling in every month. So you've got her going, you've got her working with her team, a little bit, you know, she's getting her feet wet, getting used to it. Now it's time to run. And this to me is the hardest because I really do look at everybody on my team as families, and I tend to be pretty motherly with the people I love, even when they don't want it. And it's like being a mom. You want to protect them from anything negative, any kind of disappointment they may have. You want to shield them from all of that. And it's the same way with your family. So you're going to go, oh, don't do this, don't touch that. You're trying to watch them holding that back of the bike seat when they're first learning to ride a 2-wheel bike. You're scared to let go because they might fall. Let it go. Just like your kids know, you're there to catch them if something goes wrong. You're there to help them. So does this new family member because you've proven it. So let her go and give her that little push to get out there. Help her spread her wings even more and reach beyond that 100. How many of you have a family member girl that came out of the gates, rocking and rolling in their business, and then 2 or 3 months later, they're just nothing? Because they hit that wall. They tapped out their friends and family. Right? And it's hard to push past that. It really is. You have to help them do that. So here's where you're going to help her do that. You're going to help her keep promoting in her business. You're going to teach her the crawl, walk, run method because she had no idea what you were doing when you did it. And she needs to be able to replicate that with her new family members. And then you're going to let her soar. You're going to let her be the star that she knew she was, that you knew she was, and everybody else knew. And it's really a very simple system if you just take the time to do it. The bottom line is that a lot of people seem to think that sponsoring ends when someone pays that $99 and they click join. And that's just the beginning. You have a long road ahead of you. It's a really fun road. It really is. And hopefully you're with these people for lots of years. But it's work. And you have responsibilities to them. So in closing, I'd like to share a story with you about a mother and her young son that traveled a good distance seeking out a famed political and spiritual leader, Gandhi. And when they finally arrived, the mother approached Gandhi and said, "Please tell my son not to eat sugar." And he looked at her and he asked her to leave and to return in 30 days. You can imagine her frustration, but she did. As she was out, she left. And 30 days later, she and her son began that trek again. And when they finally arrived, she approached Gandhi one more time and said, "Bapu, please, it's been 30 days, we've returned. Tell my son not to eat sugar." And he looked at the boy and he said, "Son, do not eat sugar." And the young man almost gleefully vowed never to have sugar again. You know the mother was thankful. Beyond But she couldn't help but ask, "Why did you make us leave 30 days ago and return only to say to my son exactly what I asked you to say the first time?" And he looked at the mother and replied, "Because 30 days ago, I was still eating sugar." Lead by example and go with the stars, because we all know you are already. I know you guys are going to rock it, and thank you for your time.